Everyone keeps saying the 10 rule is dying. Kakao was the last 10. The number 10 rule is dead. But if you look at the young stars now in football, they are all number 10s or have the ability to play the number 10 role. First off, I think we think that the number 10 is dying simply because football isn't a it isn't an individualistic sport anymore. It's a team sport. You look at the greatest systems in the modern game: Pep Guardiola at City, Glasner at Crystal Palace, Company at Bayern. They are all team oriented with just sprinkles of individualism. And at City, I think last season you could argue that the individualistic side of the team as a whole was Jeremy Doku on the left hand. But this season, and what I love about Pep is that he always evolves. This season, it's not only Doku, but it's also Ryan Cherky, who is a 10. So Tenno's not dead. It's just different. So you look at Cherky at City, you look at Verts at Liverpool. Not right now at Liverpool, but Verts at Leverkusen, madness. You look at Eze at Crystal Palace. You look at Musiala at Bayern. Even you could argue Olise at Bayern, even though he doesn't play the 10 space, you could argue that he plays as a 10. The 10 role is a lot different. Football being system based, a 10 a 10 is the peak of individualism. I've heard people argue that the greatest players, even if they start wide, always adapt to the central areas because that's where individualism shines the most. You look at Messi, who started off as a winger kind of, but once Pep played him in the false nine, that's the greatest form of Messi in my opinion. You look at Neymar at PSG, was a 10. He was everywhere. He was all around the pitch. You look at Hazard in his later stages at Chelsea, was operating in the central areas. And I think Lamine Yamal might do the same in the future, but look at the best players to ever exist. All were in that ten space. As a system now, you defend as a team and you attack as a team. And so individualism isn't really encouraged. No player is playing with total freedom, and that's why you don't see the likes of Kaká in today's football. I mean, you're not going to see a player dribble past three players and shoot from long range. Players oftentimes share creative responsibility. Let's take Liverpool 1920 season for instance. The two most creative players were from wingback, not the 10 space. It was from wingback. And so teams can win Champions League, Premier Leagues without a 10 or without a individual central creative outlet that doesn't do much defending. They can win stuff without him. And that's why nowadays the 10 role isn't as appealing as it was. But if you look at all the greatest players in today's game that are under 25, under 26, most of them are 10s. Jude Bellingham, Cole Palmer, as I said, Eze, Verts, Musiala, Morgan Rogers at Aston Villa. You go to Nico Paz, Rafinha can play in the 10. All of the best players are 10s. So when people say the 10 role is dying, I'm like, look with your eyes. The 10 role is alive, very much alive. The way a 10 is utilized now. And I think it depends the system, contrary to how it was back in the 2000s, back in the 2010s, where 10 in pretty much most systems was just a free rolling 10, a free roll 10. Nowadays, it's a half space central, like depending on what system you play. So if you take Glasner and Xabi Alonso's system at Leverkusen, I think Eze and Verts are very, very, very similar. I remember watching, I think, Eze's last game for Palace, or second to last game for Palace. He put on a masterclass, popping into deeper areas, spreading play. And we all know that Munoz on that Crystal Palace team is so crucial because he runs the flanks. Eze finds him time and time out. Mateta hold up play. Glasner's insane. But Eze in that system is how Florian Wirtz was used at Leverkusen, which is, in my opinion, why Liverpool hasn't used him well at all. He played, yes, in the left half space, but he would operate in the left half space, sometimes in the right half space, sometimes in the right in front of the center back to receive the ball. He was everywhere for Leverkusen. So that's how a 10 in a 2-10 system with a left 10 and a right 10 can play. 110 is more free roaming, has more creative freedom. Because Verse played with Hoffman. Hoffman wasn't everywhere. He wasn't spreading play. He was I'll do the job. I'll run back. He'll track back. In the what formation is it? 3-4-2-1 system. That's how a 10 can be utilized. But let's take Pep's Turkey and Pep's Man City system. That system, Turkey isn't roaming everywhere around the pitch, 90 minutes a game, collecting the ball from deep. That's not true. That's not how Pep utilizes Turkey. Pep knows that Turkey has one, incredible technical ability, two, can find a pass out of the eye of the needle. And so Turkey, in the most recent games, operates on the right hand side next to Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, and just combines with the people next to him and finds split passes to Holland, to Reinders, to other side to Guvardio, Nico Riley, Doku. He can just find people from the right half space. And he's more restricted than an Eze at Crystal Palace, than a Verts at Leverkusen. He's more restricted in the sense that he doesn't really have the license to drop deep next to the center back, drive through 3-4 players, go to the left hand side, pick up the ball, drive through 3-4, play in Holland. He's more of a, I know you can pop out with a moment of magic. All you need is that right half space to do it. And I'm not saying you haven't seen Turkey on the left hand side, because we obviously have that amazing goal against, I think it was in the versus Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Right-footed volley. Turkey's a madness, bro. And then you have Musiala at Bayern, who's been injured the entire season. But last season, he did drop deep, but most of his work was in central areas. Not the right, not the left. It was purely centrally. Not saying that he didn't go into the left or right, but if you look at his heat map, it's central. It's central. It's in the 10 space. You just look at the 10 roll, and in my opinion, it's on its upward trajectory. I think in the early in Messi Ronaldo's dominating period, in like the end of that, where like Modric was winning a Ballon d'Or, Benzema was winning a Ballon d'Or, I think that time the 10 roll was kind of dying. Because you looked at Felipe Coutinho, you could classify him as a 10, but he failed at Barcelona. Hazard, as I said before, was starting on the left, but drifted into central areas, to the 10 half spaces. He failed at Real Madrid. Griezmann, in my opinion, isn't your prototypical number 10, because I wouldn't classify Griezmann as a midfielder, but he did operate 10 spaces. He failed at Barcelona. And so those transfers make it look like, oh, the 10 is dead. And the biggest one of all, to my, like, it saddens me. This guy should have been insane. Joao Felix at Atletico Madrid. Joao Felix should be top 10 players right now if his career took another turn. That transfer, it failed. So number 10's dead. Number 10's not dead. It's just redefined. When a player goes and drops 30 by himself within a game winner, we love that. More than a 20 assists, 10 points game. We love a 50-point game winner in basketball. The 10 isn't dead. It's just redefined. Thank y'all for watching, and God bless.